At a lumber mill, a worker reaches to guide the peeling veneer. In an instant, the powerful rollers seize him, dragging his body onto the spinning log. Pinned by the machine's unforgiving force, his colleagues scramble to shut it down. A horrifying reminder: never place any part of your body near active industrial equipment. At a loading dock, a worker stands on a teetering stack of boxes, lifted by a forklift. In a terrifying instant, the unstable platform gives way, sending him into a head-first plunge onto the concrete below. He lands hard, completely motionless. A forklift is for materials, not people. Never compromise on safety protocols. Use proper lift equipment.
On this factory floor, a worker walks directly into the robot's active zone, oblivious to the moving arm. It swings without hesitation. A powerful, crushing impact pins his upper body against the steel machinery. This is why safety interlocks and lockout-tagout procedures are non-negotiable. Always respect the operational envelope of automated systems. On a dark construction site, one man uses a pole to pry at a towering, unstable stack of blocks. With a final reckless shove, the entire structure gives way. Tons of concrete crash to the ground in a thunderous collapse. A split second from a devastating outcome. A terrifying reminder: active work zones are unpredictable and off-limits for a reason. Stay out. Deep within the factory, a worker takes a risky shortcut, reaching into the active press. A loose sleeve snags on a moving part. In a horrifying instant, the machine begins pulling him in with unstoppable force, the mechanism showing no mercy. A terrifying reminder that safety protocols are not optional. Never bypass a guard. Focused only on the immense weight, he pulls the pallet jack backward, oblivious to the loading dock's unprotected edge. In a horrifying instant, the wheels slip over the precipice. The entire load lurches, yanking him down into the chasm with unstoppable force. A grim lesson in why you must always maintain situational awareness and never walk backward toward a fall hazard. Inside an industrial plant, a worker struggles with a stubborn cap, unaware of the immense energy trapped within. With one final push, the vessel erupts. The heavy steel lid launches like a cannonball, striking the observer with devastating force. A horrifying lesson: always verify depressurization and stay clear of the potential line of fire. A routine adjustment on a factory roller. One moment of focus, then the unthinkable. The machine roars to life, instantly pulling him into its grip. He's trapped in the violent spin, a helpless figure against immense power. Always de-energize and lock out equipment before any interaction. A single mistake can have devastating consequences. A tangled sheet pulls one worker into the machine. His colleague tries to help, but the material snags his leg, dragging him off his feet. He's pulled helplessly across the catwalk and into the same unforgiving rollers. A devastating chain reaction. Always hit the emergency stop before you approach. On the factory floor, a worker takes a risky shortcut, climbing onto machinery for a better angle. But a single misstep shatters the routine. He pitches forward, a sickening fall onto the hard concrete below. He doesn't move. The damage is done in an instant. Always use the proper equipment for the task. Never use machinery as a platform or a ladder. In a towering concrete shaft, a man works, completely oblivious. High above, a heavy industrial spool breaks free, hurtling down with terrifying speed. It tumbles violently, closing the distance in seconds for a catastrophic impact. A grim reminder: stay vigilant and always be aware of overhead hazards in your work zone. In a muddy industrial yard, a worker stands perilously close to the trailer, oblivious to the danger. In a horrifying instant, the entire stack of steel beams gives way. The immense weight cascades down, completely engulfing the man in a split second. A grave reminder: never enter a load's fall zone. Your position is your protection. On a factory floor, a worker kneels to feed a sheet into the machine, a routine task. In a horrifying instant, the powerful rollers violently seize him, pulling him into the mechanism before anyone can react. The machine shows no mercy. Never underestimate rotating equipment. Always maintain a safe distance and ensure all guards are properly in place. A worker is bent over, focused on a floor-level task on an industrial platform. Without warning, a massive fireball erupts from his position, instantly engulfing both men in a violent flash of intense energy. The aftermath is obscured by smoke. Always confirm your work area is clear of volatile substances before starting any job. In a factory, a heated argument turns physical. One man is knocked into the threads of a running machine, causing a catastrophic failure. Suddenly, a massive roller gives way, exploding in a blinding storm of high-tension threads whipping violently across the room. A moment of anger isn't worth this. Always prioritize safety. Deep inside an unprotected trench, a worker adjusts a pipe, unaware of the immense pressure around him. In a horrifying instant, the world gives way. A violent wave of earth and rock explodes inward, completely burying the man under tons of debris. A catastrophic failure of the soil. Always use trench shoring. It can all go wrong in a fraction of a second. Inside this workshop, two welders apply intense heat to a large metal tank, unaware of the pressure building within. Suddenly, a catastrophic explosion unleashes a massive fireball, consuming the entire area in an instant. This terrifying event underscores a critical rule: never weld on a sealed or uncleaned container. Verify it's safe. In an elevator lobby, a delivery person approaches the doors. They crack open, just enough for a hand to lunge out, seizing their bag. The victim is violently pulled off balance and dragged into the crushing gap as the doors slam shut. Always be hyper-aware of your surroundings in enclosed spaces. A moment's inattention can lead to a terrible outcome. On a factory floor, a worker returns to his task, his back turned after a dispute. But the conflict isn't over. His colleague runs up from behind, shoving him with full force. Pushed headfirst into the heavy machinery, the impact creates a blinding flash and an explosion of sparks. A moment of anger can have severe consequences. Always de-escalate workplace conflicts. In a busy garage, a mechanic stands near a lift. Without any warning, his body goes rigid. He collapses backward onto the hard concrete, completely motionless, as chaos erupts. His co-workers rush to his side, but would you know what to do? Emergency response training is vital, when every single second is critical to the outcome. In an industrial yard, a worker walks towards a truck, completely unaware of the danger overhead. Suddenly, a catastrophic failure. The crane's massive arm snaps and plummets, striking the man and pinning him instantly beneath its crushing weight. A chilling reminder: always verify equipment integrity and stay clear of potential drop zones. In a factory, a worker is suddenly struck and pinned by a massive robotic arm. Trapped on the conveyor, he flails as the machine presses down, his colleagues frantically trying to fight its immense weight. They are racing against time as his struggles begin to fade. Never enter a machine's active zone. Always verify a full lockout before any maintenance. In a train depot, a worker conducts a routine check atop a platform. He reaches for equipment on the carriage roof, a simple, everyday motion. In a blinding flash, a massive electrical explosion erupts, the raw power throwing him violently from his post. A horrifying reminder. Always assume equipment is live until you have personally verified it is de-energized.